welcome back to the Losing Our Minds podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, hey, thanks for tuning in, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because it really supports our channel. If you are listening on any other podcast streaming site, is that what you say? Yes?
App.
Boomer.
Boomer calls apps websites.
Boomer calls apps. Did I just say website?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Any other streaming website.
I did not just say
any
that.
other streaming site.
Okay, we're going to have to listen to that back.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Oh my gosh, I said website?
If you did, that's a boomer.
If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to podcasts, hit that follow. And also, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, this is episode 7.
Lucky
number 7.
7 is a good number.
We haven't missed a week.
I know.
I'm not going to lie. I thought we were going to
I know.
But we've been consistent for 7 episodes. But still, I'm curious. Maybe we should get people to tell us, is Friday like a good release day? I don't know.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question, because we've been considering changing it to Wednesday.
Or just another day.
Or just another day, but Wednesday is like hump day. It's like, middle of the week.
Right, sure. So, if you would prefer another day, then maybe you could DM us on Instagram or something.
Please let us know if Friday is a good day. If not, or if you don't care, then just ignore this. Okay.
Yeah. So here we go. Into episode 7.
What's going on, Grayson, with you? Any life updates?
No. What?
I don't know. I just thought I'd ask. Like, I'm sorry.
Hurt my ear.
When I'm getting too loud, he always looks at me and gives me a little like.
Well, I think I had the volume a little high on the mic input, so I don't know if it was actually high in the recording, but in my ear.
Okay.
Busted eardrum.
Any life updates? Like, I'm not a part of your life.
I know. That's what it was funny about it, is if we haven't seen each other since the last recording or something.
Anything you need to share with the audience?
I don't think so. I mean, we're just living that COVID life in our apartment, and we go out and experience the sun and hike when we can.
Mm-hmm. And we noticed today that we've done a lot of the Colorado Springs hikes.
I feel like we've done. Ooh, that was a bad time yawn. I'm sorry.
Yawn. Wow.
I feel like we.
Do I make you tired?
Yes.
That was a stupid question.
You are
exhausting. Right into it.
You are exhausting. 100%.
Wow.
I am permanently fatigued.
Okay. Wow. My cousin yesterday said she listened to all of our podcasts in the matter of just like 2 days.
Oh, that's nice of her.
I know, it's sweet. And she said that she just loves whenever you rag on me. Like how you talk about how Caleb loves it, my little brother.
Yeah.
She is just like,
she loves it as much, if not more.
She said, I think you should have a podcast episode where you get all of the cousins together and all they do is rag on you with Grayson. I'm like, that sounds awful. And also, people would think our family is super toxic.
They would. But you would also love it because you're the center of attention for them.
Shut up.
Just kidding. Now that I think about it, there's probably a lot of people that sort of enjoy me ragging on you.
Yeah, but it's okay because I get my little jabs in every once in a while.
Every once in a while. It's just hard when there's not much to jab at.
Okay.
And I just duck and weave.
Okay, I currently have a headache.
So we have, though, what we were talking about, we have done pretty much all of the big hikes in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, a lot of
There's
them.
not as many hikes around here. Well, and to be fair, what?
There are, but it's just like weird because like not a lot of them are challenging where you finish and you're like, oh, that was an intense workout. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of walking trails and stuff, but like hikes. Though we haven't done some of the more intense hikes at the same time. Like we haven't done like Pikes Peak.
Well, yeah,
that's some pretty serious hiking.
But that's not in Colorado Springs.
I mean, it's sort of, but yeah.
It's in Colorado.
We're in the Pikes Peak region here.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I hear you. That's not necessarily. Anyways.
Yeah, we've just been enjoying the COVID life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
Wow.
I've been enjoying it.
Hold on. Did you hear what I just said?
I've been enjoying the COVID life.
That's awful. Hold on.
The Google
okay, I'm so sorry. I just opened my mouth and something came out. So
that has a tendency to happen with you, doesn't it?
Okay, I didn't know what I was saying right there. So go ahead and scratch
that. Do you ever close your mouth? You got me excited when you said that Erica likes when I give you a hard time, and now I'm like,
how did you know it was Erica? I have like 27 cousins.
Was it not?
It was.
Yeah, come on. You tell me a cousin loved that I was making fun of you and giving you a hard time. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wow. She's going to love that her name was brought up. She's really going to love that. Yeah, all I'm saying is, can I just backtrack that? Because I hate living the COVID life. But we are just enjoying
Making the
life.
most of it.
We are enjoying life. Yes, we are.
So in this episode, we've talked about a lot of different things. Our last one was just a fun, like, chaotic one that we went all over the place. We've talked about semi-serious stuff. We kind of gone all over the place, which is fun. And I think we're going to start doing some Q&A stuff just as like a teaser. Not because we have all the answers, as we always state on our podcast. We're losing our minds. You shouldn't take our advice.
You shouldn't take any of our advice.
But I think it would be fun to get some Q&A and do some Q&A. So
totally.
Watch our Instagrams. We're going to be posting that soon. But on this episode...
Or if you have any questions, you can leave it for us. Wait, did I make sense there?
I don't know, but you turned on your like very proper...
Or if you have
like
any questions, you can leave it in the comments below on YouTube.
That's true. You can. Okay. But in this episode, we decided we were going to talk a little bit about kind of another core aspect of our life. Because we've talked about some of the big things like us. You just spilled bubbly all over the... And by bubbly, I don't mean champagne. Literally the bubbly sparkling water.
Bubbly? I want Bubbly to sponsor us. Bubbly, sponsor us.
No. Propel. Or any root beer brand. Propel or any root beer brand.
No.
Yes.
Root beer.
Root beer. You like root beer? Don't even act like you don't.
I don't like... We had this whole discussion on last week's podcast.
Did we?
So if I'm going to drink soda, root beer will never be the option I go to because it doesn't have caffeine.
Did we? Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. We did talk about that.
Men, I mean, you just never remember things, I swear.
It's just that you say so many things, it's impossible to remember.
I can't say anything.
Well, you came for my neck. I had to come for yours.
Well, I'm about to come back for your neck.
It's the nonstop talking for me. If somebody doesn't have TikTok, they're not going to get that joke. Or if they're not in the right sections of TikTok.
It's the... I can't say anything because I'm too nice.
Oh, anyone that knows you knows that is a bunch of baloney.
Wow.
Why do we say something?
I'm just going to say, you were thoroughly entertained. You were never bored in our marriage. I keep things lively. It's why we don't have kids yet. Because I'm too busy
trying to raise you.
Okay, honey. I'm going to hurt you. Too busy trying to raise me, please. He wishes. I've had to teach you so many lessons over the last 5 years. Give me lessons I've had to teach you. You've had to ask me to stop being like your mom.
Hey, that's true. Hey, this is a marriage episode. How many wives out there try to mother their husbands?
Okay, I'm not trying to mother you. I'm letting you live your life. There's just a couple kinks.
Oh man!
If I've got some, if I
have some kinks, you got some wrinkles, baby.
Wrinkles are easy to iron out. Kinks are a little harder.
Are they? I was trying to insult that, like
you tried to insult and you failed. Let's keep going. I think I won this battle.
You've won. Okay, so on that note, this episode we thought we'd dive into.
I know.
Hey, so you know when you go on a first date, do you know what the worst advice that they tell you is, that people tell you?
What?
They tell you, don't talk politics and religion.
Really? Is that?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like,
from who?
Just people.
Okay.
You know, when you just hear things out in the
it's
ether.
like whenever you say, oh, you know, they said this, and you're like, well, who's they? And you're like, well, I can't really tell you who they is, but they is just everybody.
Right. Well, and maybe they don't talk about it on a first date. Maybe that's unfair, but they at least talk about it.
You should never eat a burger or a salad. Oh, wait, no. A salad,
noodles.
Yes. You should never eat
noodles on your first date.
You should never eat a burger on your first date.
I disagree.
These are super stupid. You women eat whatever the heck you want.
I think you should go eat a burger with a side of spaghetti,
noodles,
of noodles of some sort. and talk about religion and politics on your first date.
100%.
Because you need to get to know what the person's about.
Yeah, don't waste your time.
But really, I guess what they for sure do say is not to talk religion and politics like, just like if you're just making small talk with people, those are the two things you don't bring up.
Oh, well, yeah.
On this episode, we are going to reveal who we're voting for. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're not getting into politics, but what we are going to get into is I guess religion. And really our faith, because it is a core part of who we are in our lives. And obviously some of the people listening to this know us from that context, from a church and religious context. Other people don't. And so I think it's kind of worth diving into because it is such an important part of our life. But at the same time, it's a part of our life that's sort of weird to deal with because when you bring up the subject of like faith and religion, there's automatic assumptions that people make.
Right.
And specifically for us, falling in what would easily be coined as the Christian religion, there's a lot of perceptions around what that means and what it means to be a Christian and what it doesn't mean. And you could walk into a Target and stop 20 people and they would all have a different idea really of what that means.
Yeah,
and so it makes it hard to talk about, and it makes it hard to identify as that because...
But isn't it kind of sad, though? I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you in your tracks. Isn't it a little bit sad?
You stopped me in my tracks the moment I saw you, baby.
Okay.
And you do it every day.
Mm-hmm. You remember that with my little wrinkles. Okay, but all I was going to say is, isn't it a little sad, or actually I think it's a lot sad, that you gave the example of walking into Target and 20 different people having, different thoughts or perceptions of Christianity. And I just think that's so heartbreaking because it's pretty clear and simple, the message of Christianity. At least what it should be, Right.
Well, but right. And that's really the core problem is that when anything... humans by default are gonna like twist and warp stuff, right? Like anything could start out pure, and then let's take TikTok for example.
Okay, let's
TikTok is released into the world. It's innocent and pure.
Yeah.
And then what happens? People get on it.
Yeah,
and what does TikTok?
So
what does TikTok become? A cesspool of chaos. Now.
Okay, what is cesspool?
A cesspool?
You've
never heard the term?
Is that something
a
I
cesspool?
should know?
Yeah, you should definitely know what that means. Okay.
Why is it that something always happens in our podcast and you say something that I just never heard before? Like simp and cess and
sus.
What?
A cesspool. It's like a dumpster fire on
I was homeschooled.
You were?
Yeah,
but
my slang was like, brother, get out of bed.
Ariel.
Bro.
I was homeschooled.
I know you were, but you also played football for school.
So you played sports?
Yeah.
You were a Miss Pageant? We need to do an episode about pageants.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we should do.
Anyways,
a whole episode on pageants.
Anyways, let's not get too sidetracked here.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Let's keep going.
Now, there's good things on TikTok. There's very funny things on TikTok.
Lots of interesting conspiracy theories.
For example, I just was watching a video before we started this.
Oh, no. We're really going to go from faith to this video? But go ahead. I want you to say it.
I found this video on TikTok where this guy is like hanging on the edge of the boat down in the water. And he's using it quickly becomes apparent he's using the restroom. What you don't realize is he's actually dropping a deuce in the river or the lake. And then his friend kind of goes up and shows the excrement floating away from him.
The logs.
This man pooped so much.
I can't believe we're talking about this.
I didn't know a human could release that much.
I know.
It was like 6 massive logs.
Honey, okay. It was.
So that's what I'm talking about.
This is where no.
That's what I'm talking about.
I want to just say this. A couple things on that, real quick. It was so bad that we don't know if it was just wood, like if they kind of made this to be.
Yeah, was it really just floating?
Or if it was legit. Also, if you were swimming in a river or a lake and you think people don't poop in it.
That's disgusting.
They do though. Oh my God.
So that's what I'm saying. Have you?
I've never pooped ever in water like that. Never.
Me neither.
Only toilet.
me neither.
I've peed.
Yeah, I have as well.
I think everyone has.
Yeah, out in the river or the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying though, is something like TikTok comes out and it's fresh and pure in the beginning, and then humans get on it, and then what happens is humans, they create gems. There's good things, such as that video I just described, right?
That was not a good thing.
Incredible.
No.
Hilarious.
That was one of the
so
negatives.
glad that is out in the world now. And then there's plenty of garbage on there as well.
Yeah.
And this is probably not a very good comparison, but religions, not just Christianity, but religions in general become that way. There might be there can be good things, and in the case of Christianity, I think there's the best possible things in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. But then you mix humanity into that, and humans being humans.
Humans are broken.
Grasping at this stuff and giving it a bad name, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes the idea of religion so complicated, and that's what skews what faith in Jesus was really is actually about,
which is pretty dang simple.
Which is really, really simple. Yeah. I mean, he told us, like, so we're not going to get into like full Bible lesson or whatever here, but for us, when we talk about our faith, we're talking about the ultimate simplest command. Jesus gave one command that he said, hey, everything comes down to this.
Right.
Everything is wrapped up in this idea of love other people, specifically love other people the way that I have loved you.
Right.
And so that's the idea that we in our particular, call it strain and of faith takes, is this idea that we are going to live our lives doing our best to love other people the way that Christ loved us. And for us, we believe that he died for us, which means we really are to die to ourselves for the sake of others. We are to leverage whatever we have for the sake of other people is really the core. And that's how we view our faith. Right.
That is the most important thing for sure. And I think the problem is Christianity, Jesus followers, whatever you want to say, and I'm definitely guilty of this. The problem is you can start making the wrong thing the main thing. My question, I've kind of come to this place for myself in my faith that I always ask myself before I even assume or before I think or anything about anyone else, I am always like, I need to know their story. Because everybody has a story. And I think that's really what love is. And I really think that's what Jesus wants and really commands from people who say they are Jesus followers, is to find out people's story. Like, I guess I feel like I could go on and on about this, but I just feel like that is one of the most important things, because you can try to stand on a street corner and say turn or burn, and I have not met anyone in my life who says they have come to Jesus or come to faith because of somebody who's done that. Instead, it's the person who says, let me take you to coffee, let me invest in you, let me listen to your story regardless of how it reads. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think you and I, we've both been raised in church. For anybody who doesn't know, we've both been raised in church our whole lives and still have very different faith stories and faith journeys and kind of what has brought us to where we are today.
And sometimes even different opinions on certain not primary things.
Right. The primary thing you and I 100% agree on, that is the hill that we will die on. And it comes down to loving one another. It really does. Love God, love others. It is that simple. And I know you and I talk about it. And I'm super vocal about it just with family, friends, whoever I kind of get down into the depths of this faith conversation about, that I think at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, right, when we stand before God, we much rather say we loved, like, God, I loved too much, or have him say, go ahead and you know what I'm trying to say, so say it.
Yeah, you're referring to the idea. I would rather have to explain to God why I gave too much grace than why I gave
exactly
too much,
what it is. Yes.
Much judgment.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's this idea, here's what happens is it's actually easier to lay out very specific sets of rules and say, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that.
But that is religion, right?
Well, it's easier to do that than it is to ask the question, what does love require of me?
Yeah.
Right? Andy Stanley always asks that question. It's easier for me to lay out these specific rules. I can't do this. Let's take cussing, for example. It's just easy, like for these religious people to say, that's bad. Mm-hmm. It's easier to, and then extend that across all these different areas where religion likes to make rules. People like to make rules. Mm-hmm. This, that, and make it very black and white, no gray. It's easier to do that and create a box for yourself and to build a box around your mind than it is to ask the question, what does love require of me? And then live that out.
Yeah, it's so hard.
If you really...
Yeah.
In every situation, in every relationship in your life, ask the question, what does love, the kind of love that if we're gonna say this person in Jesus was willing to die for us, mm-hmm. if we're willing to, kind of accept that whether you believe he rose from the dead or not, we don't even have to debate that right now. This person that died for and said he was doing it for us. Mm-hmm. What does that kind of love require of me in my life? Mm-hmm. Living that out is way harder than building up boxes around your mind, building up walls around your mind that aren't going to keep you safe anyways. And it's the problem of religion. It's really the idea that people go for the easy route of building up these black and whites and these walls rather than forcing themselves to ask the borderline impossibly difficult question of what does love require of me? Mm-hmm. And so religious people get high and mighty. They become Pharisaical. They become like the people that Jesus was angry at when we look at the story of his life, by being proud of themselves for having black and white rules and living by those black and white rules, rather than the difficulty that comes with saying, what does love actually require of me?
Yeah, so true and so good. And that is, I feel like, such an easy question, but we make it so dang hard.
Well, the question is easy, but living it out is really hard.
That's what I'm saying. It's so hard. People can't do that because is it exactly what you're talking about? They want to just create the rules, live by the rules, and that's it. When in reality, and what I've discovered in my life is when you really come to this place and say, hey, I'm a Jesus follower and I'm following him out of love, the freedom in that. There's so much freedom in that. And I have seen my fair share of the hypocrisy. I have been the hypocrite. I have been the hypocrite in my story. Mm-hmm. And so it's funny whenever you do see those things and you realize, like, for me, I kind of grew up with this, and I definitely don't think it's intentional. I think it's just kind of the world that I was in a little bit of, do you want to go to heaven or hell?
Well, it is intentional. That is the theology of like the 80s and 90s, even a little bit earlier than that. Right. Heaven and hell is the priority.
Right. So
it's
what I'm
where
saying,
are you going to go? The world could end tomorrow. Where are you going to go? And that becomes the primary basis for why you should have faith. Right. That's not a very motivating reason to pursue faith.
Well, here's my thing. It's not sustainable.
It's not.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it could become motivating. Actually, I think it could become
temporarily.
That's what I'm saying.
It may make you scared. It may make you scared for a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's what happens when the basis for faith is: do you want to go to heaven or do you want to go to hell? Mm-hmm. It may be a little fear-inducing when you're young, but But what that ends up creating in you is I don't even know if I believe in heaven and hell. Why would I?
Right.
The power for the one of the coolest things about faith in Christ is this idea that we believe that there is something after this life.
The hope that brings.
Right.
Knowing that
brings hope. That brings peace. That brings an ability to persevere through trials in life.
Knowing that you'll see your loved ones who have gone on, like my grandpa and grandma, just knowing I am going to see them, like having that faith and that hope of knowing that one day I will see them again.
Right.
Wow, that makes me a little emotional. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that is that's one of the powerful things. But what is even cooler to me about, I don't even know, even cooler, it's not about comparing them, but what to me is so compelling about faith in Jesus is that I think faith in Jesus and living out what he taught makes life better and makes you better
100%,
at living life.
100%.
So
it makes you better at life if you really take in the core practical things that what he taught.
Right.
And make that the center of your life and what drives, that is the steering wheel and what drives your car in life is taking what he said the most important thing is, and that's to love God and love other people.
Right. And it makes you better at life because then if you're asking the question, well, what does love require of me? It makes you better at every relationship and every environment that you're in. Mm-hmm. Because if you're asking yourself that at work, you're just going to be better at work. People are going to like it. If you're asking that in your marriage, it makes you better. Well, it causes you to defer to the other person. Mm-hmm. It causes you to say, well, no, but you, what about you? Mm-hmm. So it eliminates the need for rules on a certain level because I don't need these rules in my life. I need to ask myself what love requires of me. So I don't need an obvious example. I don't need the rule in my life. I'm not allowed to watch pornography. Mm-hmm. Rather, I ask myself the question, well, what does love require of me in my marriage? Well, if I'm watching porn and obsessing over other women,
right. Yep.
I'm no longer honoring you. I'm no longer loving you the way that you deserve to be loved. So it's not about having rules in my life anymore. It's ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
It's ultimate freedom and joy, but it creates this environment where I am now a better person because I am choosing to ask those questions. It doesn't mean, again, I think it's important to note too, it doesn't mean it's easy and it doesn't mean that you actually live up to that question and standard. Right. Because sometimes what love requires of me is to not get frustrated at you, but I get frustrated.
Right.
It requires of me to sacrifice where I'm unwilling to. So it's not this simple, easy, oh, now everything's happy and fun and simple. But it just makes life better and it just makes you better at life.
Yeah. And I think for myself personally, the freedom that comes with the relationship that I have with Jesus, I just feel like, I don't usually say, oh, I'm a Christian because that can be such a turnoff to somebody. Mm-hmm. But I just say I'm a Jesus follower and I know that you do the exact same thing. It's like, Jesus follower. And so
I don't use the term Christian to describe myself. Yeah.
Right. And so I know you and I both use the term Jesus follower. And because I think that narrows down. That's like, hey, I'm a Jesus follower. I try my best because we all fall short and we all do the things and we're human and humans are broken. Humans are doing their best. Humans are figuring things out. They are not perfect. It doesn't matter. You are not perfect. And so, and that's why we need Jesus. That's why we need grace. That's why we need love. That's why we need those things. And so I've just noticed in my life and who I want to become. And as I'm just getting older, I have just found the freedom in truly, truly living out, trying my best at least, to live out the practical teachings of Jesus and what he really, really demands. If you are a Jesus follower, it's what he demands. It's what he wants, and that is for you to love other people. And it's just asking that question, like you said. I mean, really, we could end it with that. It's like, if you say you're a Jesus follower, every day you should be asking yourself, what does love require of me today? And
then recognizing where you fell short of living love out and showing it to people. Yeah, I think that's 100% true.
Yeah. That's great. All I was going to say is earlier too, I know we kind of stopped talking about it, but having a relationship or trying to have a relationship. I don't really think you can have a genuine relationship that is based on just being scared of going to hell. It's not genuine, and it is not sustainable. It is literally 100%. The foundation of that is fear. That's all it is. It's fear. And then that is why people, when you think of God, there's so many times in my life where I think of God and I can be like, oh my goodness, it's this big dude on this throne who's like, you're canceled and you're canceled and you're canceled. But then it's coming down to remembering that he sent his son Jesus as a form of him. And who was Jesus on this earth? He was the most loving, caring, compassionate, person. And so it's just a reminding. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I think it's because it's the one thing in my life that I get pretty passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I know people who are so turned off by Christianity or by Jesus because of hate.
Yeah.
And because of those things. And I know people in my own life who they know the things, but they're like, heck no, because of what they've seen, they've seen
because
in our
they've seen
world.
Humans live out.
Right, exactly. They've seen humans.
They've seen humans embody the opposite of what they should be embodying, really.
Yeah. And so it's like, of course people are like, no way, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, of course. When I feel like I've come to this new place as an adult where it's like, oh my goodness, if you could just grasp the freedom or experience the freedom I have of living out this life that is wrapped up in a man named Jesus, So yeah, I think it's funny because our world can get so wrapped up with fighting for what they want to fight for. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things even about our country, is that people have the freedom and to fight for the things they want to fight for and stand for the things that they want to stand for. And usually that goes over into politics. It's like, are you red? Are you blue? Are you conservative? Are you liberal? And I've just come to this place where it's like, I don't even care what color you are. It's like, if I'm going to fight for something, I want to fight to show people that Jesus loves them and really what that is, I don't know why I'm crying. I did not expect to cry. Honestly, I think it's coming tomorrow.
It's also because it's the most important thing in our life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not your time of the month. Jesus is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first time I've ever cried on our podcast.
The first of many.
Shut up. Just kidding.
I think that's all great.
I think tell you to shut up. I love you. I had to bring in some laughter.
It is funny too because we were giving each other ragging on each other at the beginning and then saying, what does love require? Sometimes love just has fun with each other too,
The sparkling water went down wrong. Oh. That is so true. That is so true. I just think it's so important that we laugh through
people. Yeah,
we just have fun and laugh, and that
silly goose time's necessary. If you don't have silly goose time in your life,
I think it's so important. And I even think through this season of life right now in 2020 where things are so crazy and the world seems like it's just out of control, it's like, hey, it's still okay to laugh at some of the things. Like kids right now are remote learning, AKA homeschooled, and I'm gonna make jokes about it because I was homeschooled, and it's not funny, it's sad, but we can laugh, haha, and make some jokes about some of the things, you know what I mean? And I hope all public schoolers go back to school soon and things get back to normal for you, but also in the meantime, I'm gonna make a little fun of you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Not really. I'm not really kidding. But it's like, yeah, we can laugh.
Yeah.
It's okay to laugh, people. 2020, it is still okay to laugh.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. And honestly, I think Jesus 100% had a sense of humor. I bet he was
pretty obvious.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, the reality is that when it comes to faith, there's so many cool kind of theological debates to be had.
Yeah.
Like there's so much, you know, sort of secondary stuff that's really interesting to talk about and debate about. And what about this? What about that? And all of that's great. But the fact that Jesus summed it all up of like, yeah, but let's just make sure we remember what the North Star is.
The main thing.
You know what I mean? Let's remember what the main thing is. And that's the truth of it. We're not saying here, for those of you that are like well-versed in theology, all of that's very interesting. And I kind of get a kick out of, and I really like talking through and all that. But if we let that distract us from loving people and loving one another and just being good, decent human beings, you've just missed something. And that's not a faith I'm interested in participating in, you know?
Yeah.
So
if you've made it this far to the end, thank you.
Yeah. And if you don't agree, if you're not at the same place faith-wise, or you don't share, like that, man, we love you. It's all good. Like, we're not saying, that's one of the mistakes Christians make, is assuming that everyone should have the same, should agree and have the same values as them when they don't espouse to have the same, worldview. And so
and I think it's just good to share kind of where we're at. Like, this is, again, one of the most important things, if not the most important thing in our lives, is our faith. And so I think it's just for you guys to know kind of where we're at and where our hearts are and what hill we will die on, because it's a hill we'll die on. And it's a hill Jesus literally died on. So
yeah. So we may be losing our minds. We think this is the one thing we're not losing our minds about.
That is true.
Thanks for listening.
Even though I'm crying like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Nope, I lose my mind starting tomorrow. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. If you can take anything away from this, it is, what does love require of you? With that, thank you for listening to the Losing Our Minds podcast, where we recommend that you don't take any of our advice.
Except for on this episode.
Yeah, except for on this episode. Because, well, we're losing our minds. I've been Ariel.
Quick question.
Okay. Wow, what?
You always say, I've been Ariel.
I'm Ariel.
So who does that mean you're going to be next?
Oh, I don't know.
Somebody asked me that. They said, I like how she says,
no,
I've been Ariel.
No, they did not.
Well, who was she before that, and who's she going to be after?
Did they?
Yeah.
One of the kids in your stream.
No. I think it was Austin.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. He's like, wait, I love how she says, I've been Ariel. Like, who's she about to be?
I've been Ariel through this podcast, but you know what? In 30 minutes, I may change to someone else. Don't you dare make a joke about that, because I know I opened a door for you.
I'm Grayson.
I'm Ariel.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys on episode 8, where we talk about something else. Who knows?
Yep. Adios.